What's up, everybody? Your boy JC, Everyday Thoughts is in the building. Tonight's topic is toxic relationships. And our special guest will be tonight, Miss Johnny Jones. So, everybody gather around. Your boy JC's in the building. And please excuse my voice. Have a little cold tonight. So, you know. But yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? What's going on, Christine? What's going on, Nyla? What's going on, Tiffany? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Simba, Miss Gray, Johnny. Hold on one second. On Miss Johnson. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
What's going on? How you doing?
uh, I'm doing all right. It's pretty much same old, just relaxing.
Uh,
So I'm doing all right.
I feel you. Yeah, I'm doing all right though. So you want to talk about toxic relationships? What made you come up
Uh,
with that topic?
I think that that's a topic that isn't widely talked about. I think that a lot of times we don't focus on the actual concept of a toxic relationship. We look at it from the end game aspect of it, but we don't look at it from the beginning stages. We don't talk about um, how you get yourself into a toxic situation, or what builds up to the toxicity level to where now it is where it's detrimental to you and what you're trying to do and who you are as a person. So I think that it's a really good topic to talk about, um, so you'll know how to cut it off from the beginning and not make it to the end.
Yeah, that's true. When I think about toxic relationships, I think about men and women being narcissistic, only thinking about themselves, being controlling, being very manipulative, etc. You're not really allowing that person to be at their best. You're really holding them back. A lot of times it's gaslighting. Like you feeling like that person can't live without you. A lot of times you see the red flags, or the people around you see the red flags, but because you're so drawn to the person, you can't really see that person. And your mind, your body, your mind, your consciousness is clouded. So you know what else you got to
And I
say?
can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I also think that it's not just relationships like guy girl or I'm dating you type situations, because there's a lot of toxic relationships that are found with family members or with friends. So being able to actually view it and see it for what it is will be it'll help people be able to weed everything out from the beginning, regardless of whether it's your significant other or if it's a friend or a family member. I think that we need to realize if people aren't there to uplift us and to bring value to our life, there's no purpose for them being there at all.
Yeah,
It's a waste of time.
yeah. What's going on? Love, what's going on, Caroline? What's going on, Tiffany, Mark, Marilyn? But yeah, like I said, that person not adding value to your life, man or woman, then you gotta know when to cut your losses and cut base. And sometimes the best way to move forward is to cut your losses because you don't want any kind of dead weight, on your shoulders or on your feet because of being because of toxic people around you and stuff. Yeah, like you said, it could be family members, could be coworkers, could be your relationship partner. The scales is endless, so you just gotta make sure you put people who are positive in your life, lift you, is gonna motivate you, just be around, just stop being around the negative people. But some of that stuff you can maneuver, some of that stuff you can't. But you gotta make sure that you're having people around you that's gonna help you and build you up.
And I agree. I think that also when looking at just the start of a toxic relationship, there are signs that we can see. There's a lot of water testing, so to speak. They're trying to test your temperature. They're trying to see what you'll put up with and what you won't put up with. And a lot of times, if we nip it in the bud in the beginning, it won't progress to where, now we have to worry about our mental health, because a lot of times we think about the disrespect, we think about the yelling and the hollering and the physical, but no one thinks about the mental, no one thinks about the emotional, and I feel all of that plays a big part in it. And so I guess my question to everybody is, what would you consider the starting point of a toxic type situation? Like, what would the viewers look at as just pretty much what their idea is on a toxic relationship, be it, relationship like I'm with somebody or family members.
Yeah, that's true. What's going on, Sherelle, Wendy, Miss Covington, C. What's going on, everybody? I think it starts at the beginning. I think you got to have your principles, your standards, your core values have to be in line. Like, there is no disrespect. That's the first thing I tell people. I'm a drama-free man. I don't tolerate with disrespect, any kind of name calling, any kind of disrespect, tolerance level. You're gone. Just like you go there, you go to your job. They have rules, they have regulations. So you got to make sure that you have your own standard of the person, not allow negativity into your system, into your pores, etc.
And I can see that. I can see that. But then also I look at it and it's little things. It's just the little small comments, the little tweaks or the little pokes or oh, do you think that's appropriate? Or do you think that that's something that you should be wearing? Or just, it starts really small. It doesn't just start off, with the extreme like name calling or the disrespect. It builds to that. And a lot of times we allow a lot of the small things to slide. Things that you started off doing and you were doing before him, or you were doing when they met you. It becomes this big strenuous thing, something as simple as, I don't know, video games, or going out and playing basketball with your guys, or whatever the case may be. Um, a lot of the times, I think that, that's where they start testing the water, seeing where they can exert their power and their dominance. You know what I mean? What is he gonna allow me to get away with? Or what will she allow me to say? Or how can I exert this control? And then once they figure it out, now they can start, like you said, the gaslighting, or the narcissism starts to play. Or they come in and they're like this knight in shining armor, and they're just perfect and they say all the right things. And once they got you, and a lot of us, we love hard, once they have you, then it's easier for them to exert that control over you. Um, I think that we fall in love with the idea of being in love in today's culture. Everything is supposed to be fast. No one takes the time to really get to know a person. Technically, the masks don't come off on an individual for at least the first 4 or 5 months. We're on our best behavior. You know what I mean? You're not trying to, I'm not gonna eat this around him, or I don't want her to view me this way, so I have to act this way. We're on our best behaviors. The masks don't come off until later on. And that's when you really get to know a person. But the way that we're set up in today's society is that, oh my God, we need to be in love, and we need to be in love fast. Because what do you mean, dating for 5 months? What do you mean, you know, I'm not married within a year? But you really don't know who you're marrying. You really don't know who you're in a relationship with. You really don't know who you call your best friend, so to speak, if you don't take the time out. And I think that that's where a lot of the issues come into place. We don't take that time
No,
to get to know that person.
no, you're right about that. I mean, like I said, like a microwave type of generation. Everything had to be, hot and ready. Not a lot of people going on dates, not really, trying to get to know people. A lot of stuff is just fast, instant. You want to put your grits in instantly, your oatmeal instantly. Like nobody really wants to take the time to, you know, layer out the batter, put them in the oven, make it bake, make it cook, make it fry, and everything is just like right now. But sometimes you gotta let the situation marinate itself, and you'll see a lot of red flags. You'll see an inconsistency. You are right, and some people they do put in their best behavior uh first 3 4 months. But I think it's like a true woman who they are today, how they're gonna approach you, their intentions, everything's gonna be concrete. So that's what I think. That's how I know about a real man or a woman. Everything's gonna be concrete. Everything's gonna be in sync.
Yep, and that is true. That is true. Displaying poor values, I think is does really show um it shows a character, you know what I mean, or a flaw in said character. But once again, us, as I can't speak for men, so you'll have to speak for men,
Uh
but I
oh.
know for us as women,
Uh oh.
we tend to be caregivers. We want to fix everything. We see that something's broken, and we want to fix it. We fall in love with potential instead of what that person is showing us. We're like, oh, well, I may have seen that, he doesn't really work consistently, but if he has somebody in his corner, if he has somebody on his side, then I can make it to where, you know, he'll get out there and he'll do it. That comes from within. That's a character flaw from within. There's nothing that you can do to make a person to we're not here to raise people. And I think that we do that a lot. We try to raise them and we try to fix them, and they're not machines. They're You can't fix a person. You can support a person, but there's a difference between support and allowing them to step all over you. And I think that us as women, we have that really bad.
What's going on, Jacqueline? What's going on, Vandice, Wanda, Rochelle, Bridget, Glenn, Taisha? Uh, Hold on. Miss Love said people are in love with material and not people. They don't look at their values. Yeah, some people do, some people don't. I'm all about character. I'm all about morals, etc. I don't care how fat your ass is, or how big your breasts are. If you're not, you can't really send like me in the mind, or you don't have no kind of good work ethic. You're not really neat about your stuff, and I really get turned off easily. Miss Covington said, well, what's your thoughts about what Miss Love said?
Miss who? I'm trying to find the.
Miss Love, she said people are in love with material and not people. They don't look at values.
That's true. That's true because values aren't really something that's in right now. In this society, it's not about values. It's about what you can do to keep your man, and what you don't do, somebody else gonna do. But the thing is that if he's gonna walk away, and it's that easy to walk away, he wasn't yours in the first place. He was never committed in the first place. So we're in love with materials and not the people. What can they provide for us? And I don't mean like a stability aspect of it, but what can he buy me, or where can he take me? And they're not paying attention to all the other aspects that go into that person's personality.
Yeah, Miss Covington said they are not communicating. It's going to be friction, accepting criticism, or to change certain behavior negatively or positively. You can't get so comfortable in a relationship and don't expect things need to change. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to be complacent. You always want to spice it up. You don't always want to keep doing, be like a one-trick pony. You always want to innovate new designs and new ways of thinking and ideas and stuff. But I feel like a lot of people fail to realize too. You know.
And I can agree with that. But also I think that change should just be a normal thing. Growth, personal growth, the only thing that doesn't grow is dead. So everything continues to grow as long as they're alive and living. And so, whomever you're with, whether, like I said, whether it's a friendship or it's a relationship, you guys have to be able to grow together. What are you guys doing together? What is the purpose of you guys' relationship?
Yeah,
Yep, change does come with growth. It does. You're very correct.
yeah. Also, too, you don't want to be trying to baby him or mother him because, like I said, a grown man, he gonna make sure that he's gonna change from within. You have to keep begging him over and over again to change, change, change. Like he's either gonna do it or he's not. And it's okay to acknowledge it the first time, but after the second, third time, then he needs to either understand he needs to get right or he needs to step aside because you know you don't have time to be raising a grown man. You're not a son. You're not another dependent. Y'all supposed to be together, and then he's supposed to make changes, vice versa too.
Yeah, and that goes for girls as
Yeah,
well.
vice versa.
These guys out here, you shouldn't have to take care of me. I should be grown enough to take care of myself. What am I bringing to the table? If I'm requesting for you to bring A, B, and C to the table, then I should be able to produce the same thing, if not better. We should be elevating each other. And I think that a lot of times when we talk about toxic relationships, it's one-sided. We only view it from the female aspect of it, when there are a lot of toxic females out here, and a lot of times hurt people hurt people. You know what I mean? And it's just a perpetual cycle. It's just a constant thing. And so I feel like I said, open dialogue about it just helps the whole situation. And so it's not just us girls out here being hurt. Guys are out here being hurt too. And that's why they're walking around and they're hurting people as well. We've all had our struggles, and it's about growing from it and not taking that toxic behavior and putting it into um, our new situation, not taking our damage, because we're all broken. We all come with baggage. It's about acknowledging said baggage. It's about acknowledging said cracks and foundations, trying to find ways to be a better person and learn from it. You know what I mean? And then acknowledging it so you don't push it onto that other person, because yes, your partner or your friend is supposed to be there to help pick you up and help you do better, but they can't take on all of that on their own. You know what I mean? You can't bring all of that to your new situation. So you have to be woman or man enough to admit, okay, well, I come with all of this baggage. I'm working on myself to try and be a better person and not throw my toxicness, you know, on to someone else. So I think that, that's an important thing as well to talk about.
Yeah, like I said, everybody had baggage. Either you're on, ride with a carry on, or you're gonna have a full stuff bag. So, you know,
Trying to keep it to a carry on, trying to keep it to a carry on.
yeah, though, like I said, it all depends on what you willing to tolerate, what you willing to deal with. Like I said, it may be religion, it may be your relationship with his parents, it may be his work. You got to figure out what's suited for you and what's your negotiable and what's non-negotiable. Meaning, like, what can you tolerate, what can you adjust, and what are some things that are non-negotiable that you can't settle for, you can't compromise with.
Right, right. Um, so someone messaged and said, I hate petty harassing people that over text and act insecure. And that does come to an insecurity. It we should be able to go and do our own separate things and come back together and do stuff together, and you feel secure in our relationship or our friendship, um, to where that there's nothing else, there's no one else. I'm just, out doing me. I'm supposed to do me just like you're supposed to do you. Um, and I think that that actually ties into what Ms. Hicks says, because she said first they have to realize that they are toxic or have baggage. And that is really true as well, because a lot of us aren't really good at self analyzing. We're not able to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm kind of jacked up from that last relationship, or I'm kind of, messed up from, this friendship because she played me to the left, or he did this. We have to be willing and open to, look at ourselves and critique who we are, because that's how we learn and grow from every situation that we've been through. So we have to be able to say, you know what, I came out of this and I was not unscathed. I was definitely tarnished from this particular situation. What can I do to grow and not hinder who I'm trying to become as a person? But it's self-awareness, and a lot of people don't have that self-awareness.
Yeah, like I said, you gotta always do a self-evaluation and always figure out what you could have done better, and not always trying to point the finger, because a lot of people, all they want to do is point the finger. I mean, you always got to self-acknowledge your mistakes and analyze it, and how can I have done better? What way can I improve on? Like, maybe I could have communicated a lot better. Maybe she or he wasn't getting her needs met. Maybe I didn't spend enough time. Maybe I would work. Maybe I get my boys, my girlfriends ahead of her, and we never had that time together. So that's why it's so
Mm-hmm.
important to figure out each other's love language, whether it's physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, gifts given, etc. So that way you know how to be compatible with your mate.
Yes, and my best friend actually just told me about that book, and I'm actually trying to purchase it. Because our love language also, what I'm realizing, changes with every relationship, with every situation, with each personal growth. Who you are becoming can change how your love language is shown. So I definitely want to get that book and learn a little bit more about who I am now versus who I was 10 years ago.
Yeah. As Nick said, but the big, bigger thing is never seeing what a healthy relationship should look like. Too many of us are operating from dysfunction. There's a function that we saw growing up. So my take on that is, you know, you might have seen your dad be on your mom. You think that's normal. He wasn't really affectionate, so you think that's normal. Or he didn't work so much. All he did was just provide financially. So you don't know it's damage, and you just think it's just normal. So when you get to somebody else, you haven't really like been taught that that's something wrong. He's supposed to be, taking care of you equally, and making sure y'all both get your emotional needs and physical needs as well too. And you're not really focused on that. It just means you're not self-aware. You think it's normal, and it could be damaging the other person without even knowing it.
Yep, yep, but that comes from self-awareness. And you don't know what you don't know. Um, but I guess those people, because I think that a lot of us have grown up in dysfunction. I know I have. My home life wasn't always the best, but I know that I came out wanting to be a better me. I wanted to be a better mom. I wanted to be a better provider. I wanted to be a better, just overall, I just wanted to be a better person. So that's always been my goal. And I guess everybody doesn't look at it that way. But definitely, like, just I always just want to be a better version of myself every day. I'm not in competition with anybody else. I'm in competition with myself to be the best me that I can be. um and so that takes a lot of self-reflection. That takes a lot of looking at oneself to see exactly who you are, who you're becoming. Are you going in the right direction? Are you portraying yourself in the correct manner? So it gets a little sticky, and that's why we say it's individual. We can't change that person. We can't make them do it. There's nothing that we can say that will make them want to change their ways. The only person that can make them change their ways is themselves.
Yeah, what's going on, Blue? What's going on? What's Williams, Andre, James, Miss Melissa? Miss Williams said I can relate and wanting to be a better due to what I see in my household. Miss Hicks said, "Who do you model after to be like better person if you don't get it from home?" Yeah, that's a good question. What's your take on that?
um for me, my goal is to be as different as possible. I'll give you an example. um I didn't care for the discipline in my household, right? When I was growing up. I have a strong view on Black households and how we tend to discipline and we tend to over discipline, and we have to find a balance. So my goal with my kids was to find that balance, to find that, okay, well, if you need to get your behind whooped, you're going to get your behind whooped. But behind whooping isn't the only way that we can discipline, which in my household, that's how it was. So I didn't necessarily see a lot of difference because I didn't have it in my household, but I knew that what was going on, it didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel, I wasn't happy. And I always wanted to make sure that my kids were happy. And that's kind of it kind of where I go from. My goal is like, what do I feel is right? What do I what how am I being a better, how am I making my kids better? Or how am I making my household better? So I don't really have anybody to but I do have the knowledge of right and wrong. You know what I mean? And I kind of, that's my guiding tool, is what's right and what's wrong. That's how I raise my girls. That's, you know, it's kind of what I do. It's, this is right, this is wrong, this is what I believe in, and this is where I'm going towards.
Yeah, Ms. Hicks said, I don't believe in beating kids either. I believe in punishment and being consistent. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. But to piggyback off what you were saying, I feel like, you may not know, you may not grow up with a healthy relationship or set a good foundation, but you can always use that as motivation to what not to do. You grow up without a father, or without a mother, always use that motivation to be the best parent you can be. Just set your own rules and break the generational curse that in your family, and you want to do something different. So you set that kind of example. So basically, you learn from your past mistakes. You learn from other people's mistakes, to follow through that same hole.
I agree. I agree. It's just all about being a better you. Um, it doesn't come with a handbook. Um, you just kind of go with the flow, but it's definitely doable. You know, people do it every day. It's easy to go back to what you know. It's easy to accept toxic relationships. This, you know, all of this goes together. So if you come from a toxic background, you're accustomed to taking toxicity, and it just becomes really easy to just fall into what and when it becomes that easy, that's when you have to take a step back and review it. Are you happy? I mean, like, are you genuinely happy in this particular situation? What is not making you happy, and what can we do, or what can you do to change that particular situation to make it more of a happy situation for you? So, yeah, there's no real blueprint. It's about what works for that individual. And like you said, Ms. Hicks, for you, whooping your children isn't an option. That's just not what you want to do with them, which is totally okay. But I know for me, I felt that a healthy balance was good. I feel that there's just some things that the kids are going to be kids. My child just drew a whole mural on my wall. Just 3 minutes, just whole mural on my wall. I could have beat him, but it really wouldn't have made a difference. You know what I mean? She's 2. You can beat them, but they're going to do what they want to do. So what can I do to make sure that she doesn't have this type of behavior again? It doesn't always require you to lash out and hit. So
You
I agree
educate,
with you on that.
you educate them. Like, when they do something wrong, you sit them down and say, and you talk to them. You don't have to raise your voice and just talk to them. That's what I got to encounter. You talk to them. I have to be nasty. I have to raise my voice. Pull somebody to the side, tell that they're messing up. So that would work for me. But everybody's situation is different. Some believe in hitting, some believe in timeouts or whatever. But like I said, for me, just sit, point a person to the side and talk to them, and understanding why what you did was wrong. A lot of people, they do stuff, but it's like they don't know they're doing something wrong. So you always got to make sure that you tell them, you educate them, that way they can not do the same mistake again. So yeah.
Mhm.
Kim, Miss I love said, prior to the timeout and taking things away, I feel the punishment should fit the situation. What's your thoughts of that?
I agree. I do time out, I take away, and I also spank. I also have a large gap in between my two children. So I have a 14-year-old and then a soon to be 3-year-old. So, and then I also realized that every child's personality is different. They're polar opposites. And I don't know if it's just in the water or what it is, but this younger one is off the chain. And so I have to handle her differently. I have to know her personality in order to know what punishments best fits, because hitting doesn't work for every kid. Matter of fact, a lot of kids take that butt whooping and then turn around and do the same thing because it's done. But for me, all you had to do was take away my books. I was a reader, and you just stole my whole life away. Like, you took my books. I got to go outside and play with bugs. Oh, nah, bruh. Like, I won't ever do that again. So you just have to find out what works best with your particular child, because every child is different. So I definitely agree. Different methods, different methods.
Yeah, but for me, it was just taking away my PlayStation, my Game Boy, etc. So, you know, every time they get messed up, every time I got a phone call from the school, I already knew I couldn't get my game system, etc. I used to watch my brothers do clowning on me and stuff, but hey, it is what it is. And you learn from it though. And all that beating and spanking, I ain't do all that. But hey, to each his own. Ms. Hicks said, I've hit my kids in the past, and I honestly did it because I was angry at their behavior. When I took the time to calm down, I realized I could have disciplined without hitting and never saw things or changes in that behavior. Yeah, that's true, to each his own.
I agree. I agree. I can see that. Like I said, I see all the parts. I think that a calmer method sometimes works. We do a lot of yelling, we do a lot of hollering, we do a lot of cussing. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really make a difference. So I definitely try to be more calm. I know that some certain situations will make me completely mad. And so you need to go to your room and I need to go to my room and I need to woosah, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss this later. With toddlers, you have to do it immediately. But for that teen who's as big as I am, I'd be like, all right, ma'am, because I'm gonna have to take to the streets if we don't go to our separate spaces. So that's how I tend to handle it with her. We go to our separate corners, I calm down, because a lot of times we punish in anger, and I don't want to ever punish in anger. I want to make sure that I'm clear headed when I do it. So we can sit down, we can discuss it, so you can know what you did.
Yeah. Going back to being toxic relationships, I mean, you always want to make sure that the person you with, that y'all on the same page. Because a lot of times you may be, in toxic relationships because y'all not seeing eye to eye on things, or y'all think this method works. That's why it's all about, communication and, like I said, having your standards, having your principles, having your core values, and not really settling and not really allowing any kind of disrespect.
Yep, I agree. No disrespect on either parts. We got to be respectful if we expect to get respect back.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
like I said, y'all may argue, y'all may disagree on stuff, but it should never be something violently, like I'm putting my hands on you, I'm calling you out your name. It should always just be, a little confrontation, but it shouldn't never get to the boiling point.
I can't even do intense arguing anymore. I can't do that anymore. Coming from the situations that I've previously been in. So we have to go and we have to calm down, and then we have to come back and we have to talk about it and hash it out so we don't have it again. But talking in the heat of the moment never really solved anything, and people tend to say things when they're angry because they're angry. So, um I think that, just being proactive, making sure that we're not bringing toxicity into the situation, and make sure we're not accepting toxicity is one of the main ways to kind of stay out of those particular situations, because there's a lot of them out here.
Yeah, but Hicks said I have hit my kids in the past, and to be honest, I only did it because I was angry at their behavior. But when I took the time to really to calm down, I realized I could discipline without hitting, and never saw anything or changes with that behavior. I think I already read that. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, you did.
My fault. But I mean, like I said, as far as just being toxic, like I said, just hit with everybody with respect. Don't be lying, don't be manipulative. You know, 'cause a lot of times, I made a post earlier, and you know, what is the craziest thing you did to a man after you get angry at him? I got all kind of responses. You know, they urinated in his soup and he his car, broke his window. I'm just like, damn, you know, y'all need some crush, you know, y'all need some menstrual stuff just because, man, you was wrong, and
Because you're
like you
angry.
said, yeah, vice versa too, you know.
Yeah, and that comes back to the toxic relationship, the toxic behavior, because as I said before, it's not always guys. We be coming in with some toxic, situations. We're like, oh, a man shouldn't hit us, but we can punch him in his face. We can't.
We all done that.
We can't. Or we can talk to him and
We
call
all
him all
that.
kind of weak this and dog this, and then be ready to fight when he calls us something equally as negative. And we have to be better. We have to do better. I can't expect to not receive when I'm giving it out. Like that's just we just a lot of times we feed into the toxic behavior. A lot of times we can cause it. You know what I mean? And we do it because, as we stated earlier in the conversation, we come from a background, or we have come from a background, or that person may have came from a situation where that's how that household was ran. You know, it's never okay to do it. It's better to walk away. There's no better revenge than to walk away and let them see just how awesome you are without them. My life didn't stop because you're not in it anymore. Matter of fact, watch me shine. So, for me, that's my way of handling it. I don't ever want to get that angry where I risk going to jail over something silly. I got a life to live. I got moves to make. I got kids to take care of. So,
Yeah, you know, like I said, I cut it at the root. Like I said, any kind of disrespect, I already eliminate this person because, like I said, I'm a drama-free man. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. All that
I understand.
fussing and arguing, all the, you know, behind the back talk, like, I don't deal with all that, you know. So, I mean, that's just me. A lot of guys, they sit up there and play with it and put up with it because, okay, well, she fine. She has some nice, you know, assets that I like, but at the same time, you gotta look beyond just her body and stuff. Okay, that's cool. Like I said, evaluate her morals and character, and you know, actually get to know where her mind's at. You know,
Yeah, Miss Williams says you have to admit you have anger issues. You have to seek the true reason for your anger issues in order to control it. And that's true. That's true. You have to be able to, but that's a lot of the self-reflection conversation that we were having earlier. You have to be able to look at yourself and say, what am I lacking? What can I do? Or what can I, what's hindering me? What insecurities do I harbor that's causing these situations? And I don't think that we have enough of those conversations with ourselves to be able to fully um come to terms with what we're lacking or what type of negativity we're bringing to the situation.
yeah, Ms. Covington said people come in relationships expecting perfection from the other person and not realizing that we all have flaws and hurts hidden inside of us. So yeah, that's true too.
Very true. Very true. Because I come with plenty,
Uh,
plenty. And I own that. It's what makes me who I am today.
what you
Those
got?
hurts, those situations, all of that makes Jonte who Jonte is. So with that being the case, I have to embrace it, but I also try to find ways to make sure that I'm fixing myself as well.
Yeah, it's all about, you know, self-evaluating yourself and just understanding what you need to work on. You know, there's always things you need to work on, and don't take it personal when someone's trying to talk to you, reach out to you. You know, because you know you can't take constructive criticism. Then you know, there's no really no reason to be, you know, trying to communicate. You can't take, you know, feedback bad or positively. You know, you always gotta make sure that you can accept it just the same way you can dish it out. You know.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
What's going on, Miss Hightower? Um, Sensu. Kizzy, Ms. Covington said love is a form of expression. You have to love yourself first and not look for someone else for your happiness. Yeah, that's true.
That is. And that gets us into a lot of the toxic situations because they show us all this love in the beginning. And because we don't love ourselves, we depend on them to do it. It becomes a codependent situation. And that's how they control. All right, well, I gave you all this love. Now you're just so in love because I done gave you all this love. So now I can dangle the love as a form of control. Because, like Miss Covington said, you don't love yourself.
Yeah, first, self love is first and foremost. You don't love yourself, then like you expect someone else to love you. You don't feel absolutely amazed by yourself, what you're doing in life, your progression. Then that's how a lot of people can prey on you and counteract your strengths and weaknesses and turn it against you. So you always gotta be cautious. Who you let inside your circle, and realize your self talk as well too. Make sure it's positive, and you know you don't really expect nobody to complete you, but you always gotta make sure that with or without the person, you're still good, you're still amazing, and you don't need nobody else confirmation to realize how great you are.
I agree. I agree.
Uh, Ms. Williams said you also have to let go of the past, what leads to the issues. Yeah, you're right about that. You got learn from the past. Like I said, you need counseling, you need therapy to do that. Try to make sure you get help. Don't be afraid. Don't make it feel like you less than, because that's what people do. Get help. They go to a psychiatrist, counselor, and try to talk it out. Like I said, that one thing men need to do a lot more as far as us need to go reaching out to people and just to help us out, because a lot of times we build it up and instead of it being something positive, we always tend to something negatively. We always have that negative mindset with somebody else try to come into our life, trying to help us out. Because we're so stuck in the past and we don't really recognize the blessing that she or he brings to us, because we're so focused on the past, the past.
What happened in the past? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You block your blessings. Um, Ari said something really, really, really strong, which is just pretty much, it was just three words: codependence and narcissists. And narcissists look for people that are codependent. That's how they feed. You know what I mean? I speak from personal experience. It's real simple to get into a narcissistic relationship, whether it's family or, intimate, when you are codependent, when you don't self love, when you're not secure in your own skin. And, they take it, they run with it. That's where the gaslighting comes from. That's where, everything else, just the toxicity in general, it's because we're codependent. We become codependent. We're so in love with the idea of being in love, and they just take it and it's just dangled. It's just, well, if you was better at this, then I would love you more. If you were more of this, I wouldn't have needed that other girl. It's all on you. You know what I mean? There's times where they can take a situation and I could be fussing because you didn't come home on time. By the time they done, I'm just, it's your fault because you ain't washed the dishes. What is we talking about? How did we get on me not washing the dishes? You know what I mean? And after a while, you just fall into it. You fall in line. You know what I mean? And you just become accustomed to that dynamic. So that self-love keeps you from being codependent. Learning how to love yourself, flaws and all, that's important. That's important.
Yeah, you gotta learn. You gotta learn to love yourself, and like I said, you always need people in your corner that's gonna uplift you, encourage you, and speak life into you, and you gotta make sure that you take it in and don't try to twist it up or something else. So yeah, what you gotta do. You always gotta make sure that you know you are first. That's why it's important to have a self identity. Who are you? Because I feel like a lot of times you be conditioned by your parents, conditioned by school, society, and by the time you reach a certain age, it's like, who are you?
Right.
And you
Right.
you saying,
And even relationships do that to you as well. You take on, um that identity of being in a relationship, being a wife, being a girlfriend, being a mother, and after my divorce, I remember I went to therapy, and my therapist goes, tell me three things, that you feel you need to work on. Oh, it was not a problem. I was spitting those boys out with no issue. But when she looked at me and she was like, tell me something good about yourself that does not involve your job or your kids. Three things. I couldn't do it because I had became so caught up in being a wife and being a mother and being a good worker and being a great provider that I had lost sight of who I was as a person. And it's a daily struggle just to continue to open up and learn who I am as a person and who I've grown into, because I'm not the same girl that I was 10 years ago. And I hope to be 10 years from now not the same, person that I was today. So, it's about, just acknowledging all of that. Every relationship that we get into, every situation that we get into changes us in some way, shape, or form. And we have to be willing to look at ourselves and see those changes and just try to become a better us.
Yeah, like I said, a better you can really dictate your mindset and people how people perceive you. You know, like I said, like you said, a lot of people they're so caught up with what they have, materialistic thing, my car, my house, my money, but who are you though? That's what you do. That's what you possess. But who are you as a person? A lot of people can really answer that. Without trying to reference their jobs, their money, their car, their status. Like, who are you really? Who are you? When the lights are off and nobody sees you but you. Who are you then?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to go on camera. It's easy to project this type of lifestyle, but a lot of times our brothers that look good on the outside may not be hurting inside. That's why you see a lot of people committing suicide because they're not. You think everybody looking good on the outside look good, but you may not want what they got. And you don't know what that person have to do
Exactly.
to attain that type of stuff, that wealth.
That type of wealth, right?
So you always.
Um, Sorry, I just cut you off. I was gonna read the comments. Sasu said, do you suggest therapy after a bad relationship? Was it helpful for you? Yes, I would. Um, I suggest therapy all the time. I think that us, especially as Black women, it's taboo. I remember when I first signed up for therapy, I cried to the therapist on the phone while I was setting up therapy because I was so embarrassed. Because as a Black woman, you're supposed to be this strong woman, this superwoman that needs no one, and that you got to be stronger than that. When you talk about depression, oh, Black people don't get depression. They do. you know we all suffer from, and I feel like we feed into our own illness. So I therapy has helped me a lot. um I'm not currently going, but I went for a few years. um and it helped me open up my eyes, because they're not going to fix it for you. And you also have to remember that therapy only works if you work it. It's not going to fix it for you. You have to be willing and ready to go in and be open and honest on all fronts, on your flaws, on, a lot of times that's how I got to self-reflect. Why was Jonte okay with the disrespect that was shown? Why was Jonte okay with being in this particular situation and just shutting up and taking it? Why? What inside of me was I missing, to allow this type of behavior? And that's what therapy has helped me. Does it fix it? No. Am I still broken in ways? Yes, but it has taught me a healthier way to handle situations. Um, and even though I come with baggage, as Jonathan said, I come with a carry-on, not three under the under the airplane type luggage. So I think that therapy is very helpful. I don't feel that it's utilized enough. I don't think that people even realize that there's a lot of free therapists out there. You don't have to have insurance in order to get these therapists. You just got to get out there and you got to look. Um, it's very helpful. It's very helpful, and you just have to be open. Even when your family don't think that it's a good idea, or your friends, it's not about them, it's about your healthiness, your mental health. And that is what we need to take control of. Because we don't. We don't. We like to pretend we're okay.
Kelvin said most women take on role like their mother and meditate like their father. That was a lot of insecurities originated from. At some point, you have to speak life over yourself and not continue the cycle. We get relationships and never dig as deep as we should to find out what's really in you, you know. But yeah, though, I mean, about that comment, I mean, like I said, you gotta have time for self. Go out there, get a massage, you know, do stuff that, you know, you like to do. You like to read, you like to write poetry, you like to watch football, basketball, whatever it is that you enjoy, go out there and do it. And you know, have some time for you. You know, even if you take some vacation day just for you, you don't have to be going nowhere just to like relax your mind and you know be able to self reflect. You know, and one thing a lot of people just got to realize, you know, too, you know, because you know you want to keep that, just keep working, working, working. It's like you're not getting your needs, you're not getting your personal life straight. You sitting
Right. In
working,
order.
slaving for a company still that can care less. You know, drop dead tomorrow, they'll bring somebody else in like that.
They will. They will.
So I mean, you always
Um,
got to make sure you know that you take care of yourself. Take you know that self love, self care is first priority. You know.
yep. Miss Covington said some people don't want to open those old wounds. Um, I can agree with that, but the thing about it is the old wounds, they're not healed. They're actually quite contaminated, and they're causing toxic behaviors, they're causing toxic situations, toxic thoughts, toxic feelings. So you I think it's more of the fear of dealing with it and actually having to come to terms with it than to open old wounds, because if it's pussing, it's not healed. Opening it up will help get it clean. And I think that the more people look at it in that way, um, then it'll be better for them. Um, you're not healed. It's not opening up old wounds. It's literally just sitting there and not getting your leg amputated. That's what you're doing. You're keeping your soul from turning dark because you're just allowing stuff to manifest and breed and all that. Yeah, no. No. Talk about it.
Yeah, you know, like I said, you know, old wounds. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of scars ain't gonna be, you know, put on, you know, Neosporin. You gonna put on a band-aid. Some scars gonna be there for life, but you gotta realize what can be repaired, what can't be, and just face it and just try to maneuver to the situation. You know, just like I said, just be honest with yourself. Like, yeah, I am messed up, I am damaged, and I do need help. You know, how can I, you know, do better in all aspects of my life too, so I don't be with just somebody just to say I'm with somebody, man or woman, and just to take abuse from that person just because you know I don't know who I am and I don't love myself enough to walk away or not
Yeah.
deal with that situation anymore.
Yep, you allow your relationship to define who you are instead of you defining who you are. You can't be better in a relationship if you don't even know how to be better by yourself. You have to come together with your partner and just y'all should just help each other be better. And if that's not happening, you got to figure out where the disconnect is. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you grow up in a dysfunctional family, you need family. Yeah, well, it's always important to always reach out to some people that's already been positive and encouraging. Maybe I might not have talked in about a year or two, but always you try to reach out and try to see how everybody's doing. You know, you don't know everything may look good, but you always just want to call old family members up, old co-workers, just reach out to them. Like, hey, you doing all right? You need something? You know, that that
And we
will
also got to remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That right there could make the difference to that man's or woman's day just by reaching out to them unexpectedly. You know, it doesn't mean it has to be on a holiday or a special occasion. It's just blue. I'm just thinking about you. Just make sure you're all right. You know?
I think we also get caught up on the term family. Um, we look at family and we
Everybody
think
your
of
kin
it
folks.
as, huh?
So
Oh,
not everybody your kin folks.
my goodness. All right. I think that we get they were family is what you make it. You know what I mean? I am closer to my three friends than I am with anybody else. When I need to get that, I'm more of an introvert. I'm an introvert and I'm a person that tends to take on other people vibes. And so for me, it's so good to have somebody to talk to and they can pour some of that positive energy into me. They can help me through some of these dark spots that I can't seem to get out of by myself. And because of dysfunctions within the family, I can't do that with my family. It's not that I don't love them. I love them very much. I just have to love them from a distance. And I had to become okay with saying that I love you, but I love you from a distance because there are certain behaviors, there's certain actions that is unhealthy to me and it won't allow me to grow.
Yeah, that's true. You know, your love from distance. You know, everybody have your best interest. That's family included. Some people are envy of you, and we always just try to always reach out and always shed positive light regardless of the relationship. Internet with family, and I always want to make sure I leave on good terms regardless of the situation. That's just the type of person I am. So yeah. Well, yeah, you got anything else to say? What's going on, Finley?
No, I don't. I think I did a lot of talking.
Oh yeah, okay.
Thank you, Miss Covington. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you did a good job. You held your weight tonight.
Hmm?
So yeah, you did a good job. You did a good job. It's our first time.
Thank
That's good. I appreciate you joining me tonight.
Yeah, I don't do lives like that.
Hey, it's all good. I appreciate you, spending time and get everybody insight. Make sure y'all share this video and anybody that want to come on, debate, discuss with me, let me know and I'll let you come and discuss. Make sure you got good topic ideas. I can debate, discuss men or women, don't matter. It's a judge-free zone platform. Say what you got to say and, you know, just be yourself, and appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure y'all share this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. Everything's not JC. That being said, everybody have a blessed night. Peace.
You do the same.